in this video, I want to talk about if you are feeling behind in life, I want you to understand, like, although on social media it may look like people are doing great things and people may be ahead in life compared to where you're at, especially like around your age. Like right now, I'm seeing a lot of people graduate, which is great. It's exciting to see, friends I graduated with, achieve their diploma and get their degree and move on to that aspiration that they have always dreamt of and worked so hard to get towards. And I think it's really important, that, if you feel like you're falling behind because maybe you didn't finish school. Like me, I didn't have the opportunity. I call it a luxury. I didn't have the luxury to finish my education in college. The story behind that is I pursued high school, graduated with my high school diploma. That was an experience within itself where, long story short, is like nearly 50 to 60% of my entire 4-year high school experience. I was in the hospital or on home studies because I was always battling pneumonia, collapsed lungs, some form of illness, trying to recover with my respiratory. So I missed a lot. Like I missed 50 to 60% within my high school experience. And because of that, it eventually, after I graduated and I received my high school diploma, which was an extraordinary moment within itself. And I was actually in the ICU when I graduated from high school. So again, that's a story within itself. And anyhow, pursued college, pursued business administration, and reflecting off of my past experience, I knew I was like 99% sure, just off past life experiences and the track record that I currently had from previous years, I knew that it was bound for me to get sick, get into the hospital, possibly in the ICU with pneumonia, collapsed lungs. So when I pursued college, I notified all my professors and my teachers, and I was like, hey, like around, I just got into school, it's like around August, and I was like, hey, around November to December, not thinking negatively here, but, most likely I might end up in the hospital. And during this time, what happens? During November and December, you're going through finals. So you're going through a lot of tests. And unfortunately, they all said the same thing, which is we will cross that bridge when we cross it. Unfortunately, I did have to cross that bridge where I unfortunately did end up in the hospital. I wasn't in the ICU, but I wasn't doing the greatest. I did have pneumonia, collapsed lungs, and I unfortunately had to drop out of all of my classes because there was no exceptions or accommodations that were able to be done. And a lot of people said, like, how come you didn't take it up to the dean and try to fight that? I'm sure that they would have worked with you. And just reflecting off of my high school experience, there was always I was very fortunate, that I had the support that I did and the accommodations that I had when it came with my high school experience. I was just tired of stressing, of putting my education more than my health. So when it came to that point, I was just exhausted of trying to, fight for my education with the accommodations because they are completely different than high school. Completely different. So long story short, graduated high school, but I dropped out of community college. And so after I dropped out of that, then I was like, you know what, me being optimistic and positive, I was like, hey, let me try pursuing online education. So that way, if I do get sick, I can do my classwork on the computer and I can do it at the hospital if needed. And I didn't like that process because, when you're going through classwork online, the thing I didn't personally like is whenever, you get these assignments and then they teach you through like a video form, right? But when you get these assignments and if you have questions afterwards while you're doing the assignments and you don't know what to do, you have to reach out to hopefully someone that you built a contact form, within the same class and going through the same assignment as you, or to reach out to your teacher or professor, and hopefully they get back to you in time before the deadline is due, so you can get it done, and hopefully they answer your question that you can understand, right? And for me, I didn't like that back and forth when it came to like emails and text style format, like in emails. So I was more of like a hands-on kind of guy. So if like in class, if I had a question, I'd raise my hand and ask, hey, like I don't understand this. Like, can you show me? And then they would show me. I'd pick it. I would understand it, and then I'd pass my classes. So I didn't like that part of the college experience, doing online. So I ended up dropping out to roughly 2 months after pursuing my second semester doing online. I ended up dropping out. After I did that, then I ended up into entrepreneurship, and you can learn more about my entrepreneurial journey and more about that story, by going through the history of this YouTube channel. But I wanted to talk about in this video, if you're feeling behind in life, understand that those are those people's timelines. Yes, I had a moment where I was like, damn, I really, am I really falling behind? I'm working on entrepreneurship. I'm trying to build a personal brand. I'm working on content creation. I'm working on a lot of other stuff behind the scenes as well that I haven't revealed yet. And I won't reveal until, it's time to reveal, to do so, but I was just having that moment of reflection. Am I falling behind in life? Damn, I could have really been graduating, in business, or I could have been, getting my diploma or degree in some aspect. And then I just had to remind myself, that's their journey, and this is yours. So for me to you, if you're feeling like you're falling behind in life and you feel like other people are ahead of you, understand that's their journey. You don't know their story. You don't know what their story was like. Some people may share parts of their story. Some people may even become vulnerable by sharing certain parts of their story, certain traumatic experiences or life experiences that they had gone through, but they really don't share everything that happens behind the scenes. The emotions, the thought processes, the mental barriers, those self-doubts that happen to occur and creep in. A lot of people oftentimes don't talk about those parts of their journey. You primarily see the highlights, the highlights of their story, right? So the point of me sharing that with you is I want you to understand you're not falling behind. You are right where you need to be. Now, although you may not be where you had hoped you would have been, in this moment of time, I want you to reflect how far you have come. This is your story. Look at everything you have gone through. Yes, you may have had good moments. You've had bad ones, and you definitely had ugly ones. Look how far you have come. I think that right there is a message for someone out there who really needs to hear this message, that you are not falling behind. You are right where you need to be. So if you feel like you're falling behind, congratulate those and be genuinely happy for those that you see across the screen doing immense things and achieving their dream. That's their story. That's their journey. But also take a moment to reflect, this is your story. You are not falling behind. You are right where you need to be. So what you need to do is, one, you can't expect anything to change. First and foremost, you cannot expect anything to change if you are doing absolutely nothing. And if you want, to create something or do something, understand that you have to put in the work and you have to put in the effort. To put it simply, you have to earn it. You cannot expect your desired outcome to be given to you. Life doesn't work out like that. Maybe for some, if you have those resources or those privileges, but if you're the 99% of the majority, you don't. You're going to have to earn it. You have to work for it. Just like how those people you see achieving things, they worked for it. They earned it. You don't know the setbacks they had. You don't know the failures they endured. You don't know the heartaches they had to endure through. You don't know the breakdowns that happened within that process, just within that process. So for me to you, you are not behind. Understand that, again, it is their story. You don't know what they had gone through. And understand and know that this is your story. Only you know what you have gone through. And only you know what you need to do to help you continue to get to that next step. Your desired outcome, you shouldn't seek for it to be given to you. You should work so you can earn it. When you earn something, it is much more fulfilling. And I promise you, you not only will build a stronger foundation, but you will build a stronger sense of character, which to me is completely worth it. I love you. I appreciate you. And remember, grow through what you go through. Much love.